How's it going, everyone? Don Pulpo here. Greetings. And today, we're going to learn how to map a track and then review it with the curve editor, alright? The first thing we need to do is, when we open the app, we're going to go to Maps and References. Here, we're going to click on Generate Map. A confirmation window will pop up. We press Yes. Then we go to the Control Coach tab, and you'll notice that some instructions appear in this section. What do these instructions say? That the first lap, lap 0, doesn't count. It's the out lap from the pits. And then we have to do the first lap on the inside line. That means the first corner that's on the inside at the start of the lap is the one we have to take, and we're going to follow the edge of the track along that section. Then, right at the start of the second lap, we're going to switch over to the outside area. It's pretty simple. I'm going to do the whole thing so we can watch it together. Alright guys, let's start mapping the track. Remember, the first lap is done on the inside. The second lap is done on the outside. As soon as you finish the second lap, the recognition program ends, so you can stop there and move on to the UI. It's not necessary to always stick really close to the inside. There's no requirement for a maximum or minimum speed. The important thing is to try to stay as close as possible to the outside. Avoid overcorrecting the steering wheel, because after a certain steering angle, it will detect a turn, so we want to avoid phantom turns that don't actually exist. Anyway, when we finish, we'll compare the number of turns with Iracing. The idea is for it to be as similar to Iracing as possible. So we're starting lap 2. We switch sides. Remember, it's important to stay on the edge of the track. But you don't have to be right up against the white line. It is important to stay on track. Try not to go off track. But this is enough. You don't need to be a perfectionist, because we can fix this later in the curve editor. So there won't be any problem. Alright, we've finished the process. Now we head to the pits. You can just leave the car exactly where it is. That's fine. You'll notice that in the app, the process will seem to be completely finished, so you won't have any issues. Now we'll go to the Maps and References tab and click Refresh. And now we have Imola. Now, usually, or most of the time, a few extra curves will show up. For me, it was a conscious decision to make it a bit more sensitive, so it detects more curves rather than fewer. I'd rather delete extra curves than have to add missing ones. So, let's edit this. Compare it with the Iracing map, and after that, it'll be ready to use perfectly. Alright, let's do this in Iracing then, so we can compare the number of curves and check the metrics. Not the metrics, actually the curves, the number of curves. Let's see, so you can take a look. We detect how many curves the track has from the Iracing SDK. So we already know that information, we have it. But we need to check here how many curves appear on the map and try to make sure it matches exactly. I noticed quite a few here, so I'm going to make some adjustments and show you how this works. So, let's get started then. So, we delete the curve that appeared here in number 1, which is the initial one. That's where we load into the the interior, and then we start organizing. Here we see that the first chicane is made up of turns 2 and 3, so we're going to keep turn 2, which was originally turn 1. We're going to delete turn 1, the one that was detected as turn 1. We're going to delete it. I wasn't really sure where the start/finish line was. I didn't know where animal was, so that's why I moved a bit. It's good for you to know that you can delete everything and remark turn 1. So, we need turn 2 to be here and turn 3 to be here. For that, we're going to delete turn 2. How can we tell, or how can we spot when there are a lot of turns that aren't detected correctly? By looking at the final and total number of meters. The map regenerates every time we delete a turn so we don't forget. Always, before you exit, what you need to remember to do is save the turn, save the new map. If you want to add a turn, you can use the reference meters here. Here you have 600 meters, 700, 800, you calculate it, add it here, and the turn will be added. We have turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, and we'll keep checking. In Iracing, we have turn 1. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure why you can't see my mouse, but you can look at it. 1, 2, 3, and then comes turn 4. So we have turn 8, which is Piratella. Turn 9 doesn't exist. Turn 9 goes here and turn 10 goes here. So we're going to delete turn 9. And we're going to delete turn 11. Now in the chicane we have 11 and 12, which is correct. 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 in the chicane. 13, 14, 15. They do not exist for gracing. This is the one that does exist. So let's delete all these 13, 14, and 15. Correction. Remember that when we delete a turn, the numbers get reordered sequentially. So, if we delete this one, this is no longer 3 and 14. Now they are 3 and 14. No, it's still 13. Let's check. Turn 13, 14, 15, we're good, 16. And we have a turn 17 before reaching the finish line, which apparently was previously considered as turn 1. We can write it down. Or not write it down. Remember that the guide is going to be based on what we write down for it. If you really don't want to get advice for the so-called turn at the finish line, it won't be considered. We're only going to add it. Just to say that we're the same as risk start. We're going to set it at 4,800. and the end. We're going to set it at 4859. That's where it will add curve. (17) and T1. So it adds the curve, and here's the start. And with that, we'd be exactly the same as RIS. And now we're going to save the changes. Save. We can close it. And now we have it. We're going to click here to update. Let's close this. We're going to click refresh list. And now we have Emola GP there, perfectly ready to use. Remember, I'm going to try to make as many tracks as I can so you don't have to. Do them yourselves. Alright? Take care, guys. See you.